أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وعلى أصحابه الغر الميامين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين اللهم اجعلنا منهم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank him. We acknowledge that he is the only one worthy and deserving of all praise and thanks. We ask him to shower his most complete and abundant blessings and protection upon his noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his noble family, upon his shining companions, and upon all of those that follow them until the end of time. We ask Allah to include us from among them. We ask Allah to teach us what will benefit us, to benefit us through what he has taught us, and to increase us in knowledge and accepted actions. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How is everybody doing on this beautiful morning? Doing well. Last week, I was kind of noting that last week was your guys' first full week of seminary.
Yeah.
And it was also like the busiest week in terms of like Dr. Akram was here, and then there was the Bukhari Khatam, and then there was the forum on Saturday. Seminary is usually not that busy outside of class time, but I was just kind of thinking, oh, I hope they, don't get overwhelmed by the amount of outside of class activities that we have going on. It's usually not like that. But how did you guys like who attended the Bukhari Khatam? Did anybody attend it? How did you like it? Yeah.
It was the first time I kind of did something like that.
Mhm.
At a bigger scale, and I realized how they put in effort to all. I think it was more of
Mhm. Yeah, it's really unique. I don't think a lot of people are, I mean, because everyone's aware of like a Quran Khatam that happens during Tarawih. That's like a huge party. But I don't think a lot of people are aware of the type of Hadith collection Khatam that we have as well. And as you guys advance in your seminary studies, you'll see that we do this for a lot of books in general. Pretty much anytime you finish a text, there will be some type of like dua celebration, because it is a huge accomplishment to cover something from cover to cover, especially works that are like Bukhari isn't necessarily intended to be read like you read a book, or it's like it's like a reference book. Like when you're looking something up, you check it in Bukhari, or you want to get the exact wording, you reference that book. So when you finish these texts that are intended to be more like reference works, it's a huge deal because it's like, wow, you really covered a lot of ground. How did you all like the forum? Any feedback? Anything that people thought could have been done better? As we head into this was our first one, so as we head into all of the rest of the ones that we have going on this year.
I think a few of us didn't hear about it until like 2 or 3 days before.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I guess some people in a group chat, maybe.
Did you get added?
No.
I'll just text, I wasn't added, but I texted sister, just mess it over.
Okay, so more advanced notice. Yeah, I think we need to do a better job about just like making those announcements in class as opposed to just on the group chats and stuff. A lot of people, myself included, don't check those. Anything else? My biggest piece of feedback was, I don't know if this is just me and having bad hearing. I couldn't hear anybody. Like, I feel like that room was too big and people were talking too quickly. Even when we were doing the sisters only activity, I was like, what? I could barely hear anybody. I don't know if that's just a me problem though. Anything else? Yeah, I could not hear anybody. Yeah. We usually have it in one of the side rooms. I think just because there were a lot more people, we decided to do it in the main musalla, but it's too big. Anything else? All right, so our schedule for today is that we are going to start class off as usual with our weekly quiz. After that, we are going to do some review of the material that we covered last week. We have a number of different ways that we are going to do that, including some games. And then after that, we are going to jump into, time permitting, our new material for today, which is the present/future tense. So we're already moving pretty quickly along. So without further ado, let's go ahead and put away all of our materials, all of our notes and books. and whatnot. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our quiz for today. What's that? Okay, so two different tasks that you have to do here. The first set, questions 1 through 10. All you have to do is write out the Arabic translation. So you do not need to copy the question. Just write the answer in Arabic and write the vowels on your answer as well. If any letter is left blank, meaning without any vowel at all, I will assume you intend for it to be a sukun. So if you don't want it to be a sukun, oh, sorry. If you don't want it to be a sukun, then put some vowel on it. So vowel all of your answers, write it in Arabic. Part 2, numbers 11 through 15, you are going to write the question. You're going to write out whatever is given to you, and then you're going to put the vowels on it, the appropriate vowels on the word. Again, same rule. If you don't put anything, I'm going to assume it's okay. Any questions?
Sorry, could you just explain 11 to 15 one more time?
Yes, you are going to write out the Arabic word that's given to you.
Yeah.
And then you're going to put the vowels on it.
That's it.
That is it.
Copy
No
the word.
translate, copy the word,
No.
put the vowels on it. Do not translate 11 through 15. All you're in charge of is voweling.
How much time do we have?
We'll take about 15 minutes or so. But then I'll check in to see how folks are doing. Yes, and for folks that are online, you are going to take a picture, scan it. However, you can get an online version. I also see people that just like write it out on their iPad and they just send that. However, you get it into me, just to my email. You can send it to my email. Yes. So questions 1 through 10 is translating. So for questions 1 through 10, you do not need to write the question. You just need to write out the Arabic answer. So just all of these are going to be one-word answers. And you are going to ensure that you put vowels on all of your answers.
just to clarify, 11.215, just adding the vowel signs.
Correct. Yes, just vowel signs, no need to translate. 11:15. Go into.
Where the restroom?
Sure.
We're supposed to email it, right?
Yes, email. All right, let's take 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes to wrap things up. Thank you. All right, 2 more minutes. Let's take 2 more minutes.
That's something.
Sure.
With the book, there was a nice sign here, whenever we read, you're reading. I don't know what that means.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk about that, but as you have it, it's
On the book, there's a nice.
Yeah. all right. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. All of our in-person people, make sure that you have your quizzes on the table. If you are online, you have a minute more just to get it all turned in. So until 7:53, if it's not in my inbox by 7:53, it will be late. Everybody from in-person good? All right, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to pause the recording. All right, let's look at some past tense verbs in the Quran that at least we've come across that we're familiar with. Obviously, the Quran, every single page you come across, every page without any shadow of a doubt, will be riddled all over with past tense verbs. Okay, this is a very common conjugation, right? They're across verb forms, but sometimes you will see that you'll have a bunch of verb form 1 past tense verbs all together. So anybody, let's go through this ayah, or everybody, let's go through this ayah, and anybody, what are some past tense verbs that you see here? أخذنا, good, أخذنا. What pronoun is that? نحن, all right, نحن. Did you guys have أخذ on your vocab list or no? No. Does anybody by chance know what it means? To take. So أخذنا means we took. Huge, right? You guys already are able to like come across a word like this. If you have the help of a dictionary or once your vocab list gets bigger, you just know what it means straight up, right? Where vast majority of the world would have to read this in a different language than the actual Arabic. So huge blessing, and we're only in week 3. What else? رفعنا. Good. Same pronoun, right? We see that noon alif at the end, so we know that it's nahnu. What does rafa'a mean? To lift or to raise. Good. To lift or to raise. So we lifted, we raised, we lifted. Good. What else? Not khudu. Khudu is a command conjugation. Sami'na. Sami'na, good. Which means what? We listened, we heard. Good. What else? One more time. Asayna, good. Anybody know what that means? We disobeyed. We disobeyed. All right. There is one more, but we haven't come across those types yet. Ushribu is one of them. It's a type of passive verb, which we will come across at some point. Passive and on a different verb form. Anything else? Ya'muru is mudari'. Remember that Mali will never add letters to the front. So if we have 1, 2, 3, our 3 root letters here. If we have a letter in the front, we know that it cannot be Mali. All right. So these are some of the ones that we for sure have covered. Except Qalu's on your vocab list, but if you didn't get that, that's fine. But at least akhadna, rafa'na, sami'na, we all got, right? We all can identify that very clearly, very easily. All right, what about here? ذهبنا قالوا تركنا أكل. Good, very good.
And of course, anta.
Where is it? Oh, enta, good. We can recognize that. It's not a verb, but we recognize that from our pronoun list. Good, very good. Right.
Was
So we got-
Kunna one?
Where is it? Yes, kunna as well. Good. Cool. Yes, so we've got qal, we've got dhahabna, we've got tarakna, akala, kunna is past tense as well. We haven't really learned the specific rules. That's why it looks kind of strange. It looks a little bit weird, different from what we've covered before, but excellent, great, right? So again, this is huge that we're already able to do so much. With the help of a dictionary, you guys can translate multiple words in the Quran. And even if you're not able to piece everything else in the ayah together, at least being able to identify those words, you might get a gist of what is going on.
How many different words in the Quran?
How many different words?
Yeah.
Like how many words or how many different words?
How many words that we have memorized in the channel?
Oh, a lot. Yeah, I haven't gone through and counted. That would probably take some time. But in order to, in terms of memorizing, or sorry, in terms of being able to understand the Quran, by the end of this year, you will have like 85–90% of the tools to figure it out. And that's the key here. The key isn't necessarily that you open any single book and you can read it like you can read Brown Bear, Brown Bear. It's more so that you have the tools to figure out what certain words that you may not know mean. So by the end of this year, you'll be able to have the tools to figure out like 85–90% of the Quran. So you, with the help of a dictionary, those sorts of things, that is the goal by the end of the year, that you'll have all the tools to figure it out. You may not know right off the bat what these, especially like the 30th juz is interesting because it's often the ones that we give to children to memorize. By far, it's the most difficult juz in the entire Quran. In terms of vocab, very esoteric vocab that you see in the 30th juz, you don't see anywhere else. Because you have to pack a lot of meaning into like 3 lines, right? Whereas Surah Al-Baqarah, you have 2.5 ajza to talk about something. So in terms of like the actual individual words, that's going to take some time to know what every single one of them means in terms of memorizing the vocab, but you'll have the tools. You'll know how to look it up in a dictionary. You'll know what the sigha is, what the pattern is, all of that good stuff to figure it out.
Those are like the most earliest surahs, right? The last juz, pretty much.
Not necessarily. We do have some early surahs that are not in the last juz, but yes, a lot of the last juz is Meccan.
Is there, the reason I was asking is it like you said they're like grammatically like the most powerful, like in terms of understanding? Does it have
In terms of vocab?
in terms of vocab, and does it have anything to do with like when the Prophet came as a unlettered person and then he started, dropping these very powerful words? Like, was it because like that was like the miracle for those?
Yeah, so the words that are used in there are not necessarily esoteric in terms of like their actual usage, more so that they're not common. So it's not that he wouldn't know them. Like it's not like that he's like talking about something that is like outside of his wheelhouse or something like that. That's an interesting point to think about, but I don't think that's necessarily the case where he's like talking about words or utilizing words that he wouldn't already know as someone who's living in society. It's more so that they're not common, if that makes sense. The distinguishing between those two.
Yeah.
So they're not common, but they're also not hard, if that makes sense. Good question. Any other questions on our content for right now? Make sense? Okay. All right. So this goes badly every year. But I keep doing it because I think it tests a very specific part of your brain, which is being able to keep up with individual conjugations without starting from the beginning. I see this every single year where people will be going through a chart, they mess up, I give them the correction and they cannot continue, they have to start from the beginning again, right? Sometimes you may have already experienced that where you kind of get messed up in the middle of it and then you're just like, let me just start all over, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to be able to start from the beginning, start in the middle, start from the end and loop around to the beginning. Again, we want to be able to know this even better than our ABCs, right? Where we can just like pick up at any point and keep going. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the in-person and then we're going to do an online version. We're going to have a verb and we are going to snake around the room. So we're going to start with Noorjan. We're going to go this way to Siraj, to Sardar, and then back this way to Mash'al, to Hidayah, etc. And you're just going to say what the next conjugation in the list is. So we're just going to start from Huwa, go all the way through. And the idea is that this is a relay race. Okay, so we want to keep it quick. We want to keep it going. We don't want to put too much delay or pause, right? Someone's handing you the baton, got to take it quickly. Okay. All right. So I am going to start us off with the first verb, and then Noorjan, you're going to take it from there. Okay. Arafa. She said Arafa.
Arafat.
عرفنا
Nota.
عرفنا
Arafat.
عرفتما
عرفتي.
Arafuma.
Mm. One more time.
Arafuma.
عرفتما. Good. Sorry, is that what you said? Actually, I heard something different. عرفتن. Good. She said عرفت. عرفنا. Good. All right. Excellent. That was actually not bad. Great. All right. I'm going to start us off with the first one, and then Muhammad, you're going to do the second conjugation. Okay. So سمع.
سميع
So this is going to be here. Here ends with a ta sukun, and all the three first letters are voweled. سمعت. سمعت. سمعت.
سمعت.
Samir. What did you say? Samir. Samiati.
سمعتما
سمعتن
سمعت سمعنا
Good. This is going great. All right, we'll do one more round in person. Kamula, Kamula. All right, so you're gonna start us off with our second huma conjugation. Abdullah, Kamula. This is gonna be our hum conjugation. So we're gonna end with a wow med. Kamulu, kamulu.
كمل.
Hidayah, repeat yours. Kamulata. One more time. Close. You're gonna put a sukun on the lam and a fatha on the noon. Kamulna.
I don't know where they start exactly.
See, she stopped at hunna.
Hunna.
Kamulna. Hunna kamulna.
Kamunti.
Close, right above it. Not anti, but anta.
Kamunti.
Good. Kamulti. Kamultuma. Two.
كمل.
Good. All right. Okay, let's do an online version. Let's see how this goes. All right, so I'm just gonna go with folks who have their camera on. We have Amira, Joseph, Mariam, Muhammad, Fardeen, Rania, and Rana. Okay. So we're gonna go in that order. It seems like it's alphabetical by first name. So all of you guys are gonna unmute. Stay unmuted. And we are going to start. All right. So we all got the order. It was Amir.
I didn't. I was connecting. What did you say? Sorry.
We are going to do. Let's see. I think someone just. We're gonna do Amira, and then Joseph, and then Muhammad Fardeen, and then Rana. Sorry, and then Rania, and then Rana, and then Mariam. You can just turn your camera. And then
So what was mine again?
I didn't give it to anybody yet. I didn't give any verbs yet. All right. So we're going to start off, or I will start us off, and then you guys can go ahead and jump in when it is your turn. So I'll start off, and then Amira, you're going to give us the second person, the third person dual. Okay. Kafara.
كفر
كفروا
Good.
كفرت
Good. Baton's been dropped. I think next is Rania.
Oh, I thought I went.
One more time. Kafarata.
كفرتم
Mm.
كفرتن
كفرت
We're gonna go up one box. So you said kafartum. Go to the one right above it.
كفرتما
Kafarna.
كفرنا. Okay.
Kafarna. All right. And then Mariam?
كفرت.
Kafarta. Okay, back to you, Amira.
كفرتما
Good. And then Joseph?
كفرتن Are we there? أو كفرتم
Tum.
كفرتي
Good. One more time. Kafartuma. Okay, good.
كفر كفرتم
Mm. Now you're gonna do the one right below it, right below that.
كفرتن.
Good, 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 good.
Okay.
كفرتن. Uh-huh. And then we have Maryam and then back to Amira.
كفرنا
Mm.
كفرت
كفرت.
كفرنا.
كفرنا. All right. Still need some work, but I think the more we practice, the more we will get it, inshallah. All right. Let's just do one more round in person. Let's start off with Abdurrahman. Just start us off from the beginning. No. Good. 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 What? What did you say, Ahmed? غضبنا. You said غضبت or تما? غضبت. Okay. غضبتما. غضبتم.
غضبتي.
قضيتن. قضيت.
ضربنا.
Good. Very good. All right. Okay. Let's do another activity. We are going to be doing a little bit of a competition wherein we will be writing out these sarf charts with both speed and accuracy. Okay, so we're gonna have two people go head to head, and whoever gets the chart correctly and first will get an extra point on their quiz for this week. So stakes are pretty high. All right. Let's go ahead and try to go for it. Okay, we're gonna do this up on the board so everybody can see, and then we're gonna give everybody an opportunity to make corrections. And then we are going to see how we do. All right, so our first two contestants are going to be, let's do Muhammad Mardini versus Siraj.
Isa versus Rama would be like the two heavyweights.
Isa versus?
Rama,
Mm.
two smartest. that we had.
All right. Right when I give you the verb, you can start. Your guys' verb, right nice and big. Your guys' verb, full chart.
You have to label anything like or just like.
No, yeah, just write the chart, just write the entries. Your guys' verb is sajada, and you have to vowel all of them. All right, we're pretty neck and neck at this time. Look at a chart.
Never look back.
Yes.
Can you have the next set go backwards?
What was that?
The next contestants go backwards. So.
No.
What is she?
No, really?
Oh, excellent, that's, yeah. We have 5 minutes.
All right, whenever either one of you are ready, you still have 2 seconds to lock it in. All right. Siraj decided that he is going to lock in his answers. But he has to get them all right as well.
So any wrong and they both lose or?
Any? Well, we'll see. We'll check his first. If there's anything wrong, then we'll move to Muhammad. And then if there's anything wrong there, then we'll just base it on who gets more right. All right. Any mistakes with Siraj's chart?
Yeah, that's all.
Right? What else?
Oh, it's should have a sukoon on the sajjad depth, right?
On the top?
So the sukoon.
Oh, no, that's the check that for the 2 1.
But need a sukoon, right?
If it's blank, it's assumed to be Sukoon.
So
it's fine.
what did that first?
It's like a 2-point.
Which one?
Yeah, there's 1 point on the tail or is like.
Oh, no, that's a Dhamma, right?
No,
This?
before that.
Which?
Yeah, so it's 2 point there on the tax.
Oh, no, if you're running fast, you're gonna put a little line.
Oh,
yeah. Anything else? I think that's good. All right, what about Muhammad's chart?
You just did it after.
Right.
It's not Jacob did not.
Wait, there's 2 that?
I don't know.
That's
good. Oh, it's a G? Yeah. It looks like the G has a twin. It can join twin.
So Isa said he didn't get any wrong. I'm gonna go with Isa.
I think that we put a confusion outside of no.
Which one?
This bad.
The jet tone.
Oh, okay.
only would be that, is this a new or that? Okay, I see it.
Oh, I see that. That's
Okay.
it.
All right.
Good.
Oh, a little more longer. All right. That as so, you just write the G here, then just keep going through and make the that. Right? So it seems like you lifted your pen each time, so you don't need to lift your pen when you're connecting G. Okay. Cool.
Say that again?
I'm noting with his handwriting.
Oh, okay.
And every time connecting with you and them. These two letters are going to be connected as such. You're going to go ahead and start with your name. And then
Yeah.
connect it that way. So you don't need to lift your.
Mm.
All right, cool. I'm gonna expect your quiz for this week. All right.
And this shit was the point you told me one, because the quality of your writing is superb.
I did appreciate Silad's foundation. Very important. All right. Next two victims are, let's do Mash'al versus Salman. All right. Your guys' verb is Samira. Yeah, Mash'al is really pressing. Whenever you're ready. You're locked in? Think so. All right, who locked in first? Salma or you? I think you said that, right? You said you're ready first. All right, so let's look at Salma's chart. Any corrections?
Yes. Send me that.
Oh, it could be semi-hot.
Yes. Oh, look, extra. This should be a.
There's an extra little. In between the I and the ta, there's an extra little.
Maybe just 10 minutes shit.
Yeah. That's semi-hot.
The mean, with the last letter at the very last word, the very last word on the left, the last letter.
Semi-hot.
Okay.
The mean, there is no mean vowel. Of course, the mean.
There's no mean.
No mean vowel. For last one.
Yeah, you can do that.
Wait, what was your thing?
I think that's what.
There's no sign on the.
Oh, there's no sign, yeah, so because there's another letter after it, I don't get it.
Oh, okay.
This is a writing question. Can you write the ayn like that?
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a
Okay.
second. Let's see, what about, let's provide the chart.
Yeah.
What? Oh, yes. Here. The little is here.
It's on the scene.
Oh, yes.
So close.
Probably just the adrenaline. Just a second, got there. All right, anything else on this one? Anything else? Looks all right, aside from those points. Okay, so Sadhana is our winner for today. All right, so just a few handwriting things. So when you have the item that is at the end of a word, in some this little loop right here is going to go backwards like this. Okay, so it's gonna look like. And this is an line on its own. This bottom part of the line is going to be this. Okay, so the inside of this is gonna go this. When an item is in the middle of the word, it is going to be closed. Okay, so when it's in the beginning of, so iron on its own. The convening that we have here. Right, iron on its own has one loop above, second loop that goes below. When iron is in the so this is just the letter by itself. When it's in the beginning of a word, it's gonna be like this. When it's in the middle of a word, it's gonna be like this.
Circle should be empty, right?
When it's what?
For the third one, the circle should be empty, right? Because it could be the fair or the third one. The inside of the letter should be empty if it's painful.
No, it can be empty.
But if you can be fair and there's one point above them and they're like kind of same on the middle.
Yeah, so the way that they distinguish it between a fat or a line is that this is a bit more boxy, square, or triangle rather, whereas the other ones are going to be with a circle. Right here. This is going to be my fat in the middle. This is going to be my plane in the middle. So they look similar, they look kind of the same, but the key that people use when writing is that it's a little bit more angled, whereas this is just a circle. And when you are at the end of the word. Here. When you are at the end of the word, you are going to have the loop that goes back around. All right. Or is there a problem opening or? With that? Like if the, like if you all take a change. Like you, like utilizing the open one in the middle of the word. Yeah, so I mean, that's, like, clearly I can understand what this says. So you don't need to worry too much about it, but technically it would be incorrect to have an open item. It would need to only be at the beginning. Yeah, so this is just an item, like the letter item on its own. This is, these three are when it's in the beginning of a word, when it's in like the middle of a word, and it's at the end.
Can you show us the path in the middle of the word?
Huh?
The path.
Actually, let me do it on the thing so that the people online can see as well. Here. Let's do this right here. So. For our people online, this is how we were writing out. All right, Ryan on its own, Ryan in the beginning, middle, and end. Okay. Let's make this straighter. In the beginning. Middle. And end.
For the hat, sometimes it has that like yeah, or like a box connected to it, but it looks like two high stuff. Is that like the design?
Yeah, that's like kind of like a font. So it's not that you have to write it like that for it to be correct. That's more of just like, you're talking about when it's basically stacked, right? Yeah. So that's like a font type of thing, stylistic. It's not right or wrong. Or proper or improper. Yeah. Huh?
Maybe dot,
And
dot.
blood. All right, so ha is kind of like a little circle. When it's at the beginning of a word, there's a lot of different ways to do this. But the key is that you want to give across or convey the meaning of a circle with a line through. That's in a sense what you're trying to get through. So ha at the beginning of a word, ha in the middle of a word, and ha at the end of a word.
So the middle, it can't be above, but it has to be below the line, like the bottom part.
Usually it will be below. Yeah, it will dip below whatever the standard line is. So if I'm writing, you know, sahl, for example, something to be easy, I will make my ha go below. And then what was the other one? Blood.
Ball.
Right. Blood. The beginning of a word. Beginning. Middle. And any others on this one? Huh?
Double?
Dhamma?
Mhm.
Like how to put it on a letter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of just like a tiny wow. Tiny wow. I know I've been suggesting to do like a proper writing workshop because a lot of people they kind of just like treat Arabic as like a picture, you know, like you see like a sun like this and you're kind of just like, oh, like I can draw that. So you kind of just copy it from what you think it looks like in your head. But there's actually a proper way of like writing the letters. Like for example, a lam alif, a lot of people write it like this, right? That's incorrect. The actual correct way is that you do the lam first and then you write this next. So like there are like, and they look the same, right? They look very similar. It's just a matter of what's the more proper way of writing. So yeah.
I have a question. Sheikh Aisha.
Yes. Sorry, 1 second, Selma, and then I'll get to you, Amira.
Sure, thank you.
Inverted. Yeah. Yeah, so you could do either one. You could either do two dhammas together or a dhamma with that's flipped like that. One thing that kind of is the difference between these two, and you'll see it in the mushaf. Is there a mushaf around here? Yes. All right, so taking a real detour over here, but when it comes to tanween in the Quran, the tanween looks different depending on whether the letter afterwards will make you do ikhfa or izhar. Ikhfa is when you kind of hide that sound, right? You kind of just have like a elongated noon, whereas izhar is when you do it like an actual stop. So let's let's see if we can find some easy examples over here. All right. So, like here, I'm just looking, this is, oh, this is, this is just the hundreds. Okay, so, I wish I could kind of just show this a bit bigger, but like you see how in this word right here, basirun, you have the double dhamma next to each other, right? You have this type. You have this type where it just looks like two dhammas next to each other. That's because the letter right after is a wow. So if you were to read this connected, it would be basirun wa huwa, right? You wouldn't say basirun wa huwa. As opposed to if this one right here. That one's the inverted. It's inverted because here you do stop. Shakurun yakun. Well, that's just like it's kind of just like a little thing that helps in deciding what is like a assistant for the tajweed rule. Just pull it up so we can all see on the screen. What verse is this? 23 and 27. All right. So can't really see that, but oh, it's in the same ayah. Great. We don't have to scroll down. This one is a double dhamma like this. This one is an inverted one like this. The reason this one is a double like that, it just looks like two vowels together, is because sheen, when you do it ikhfa here. I don't want to get too much into the rules of tajweed. If you don't know what that is, then you can ask me one of the Quran teachers here. Basically, when you read this together, you would say ghafurun shakur. You wouldn't say ghafurun shakur. But if I were to be continuing this ayah, I would say shakurun am. So here I wouldn't do that ikhfa thing. I would do straight izhar because I have a throat letter that comes. So that's the only difference. But that again is like a stylistic choice to make the tajweed easier. But if you choose either this type of dhammatain or this type of dhammatain, either one is. There's also a similar rule while we're here. That comes with double fatha and double kasra as well. We're not going to spend the time to look through an example, but in essence, whenever you have a staggered double fatha or double kasra, so you see how these two are not directly on top of each other, they're kind of staggered, right? When they're staggered like that, that is an indication that you are going to do ikhfa. When they are directly on top, they are the same length and they're directly on top of each other, that's an indication that you're going to do izhar. Same thing for kasra as well. When it's staggered, you do ikhfa. When it's identical, not staggered, then you do izhar. Cool. Any other questions on tajweed or writing? All right. Oh yes, sorry, Amira.
No, no worries. You know how you have the little line that comes with the dod and the same with the sod? I don't know how to describe it, but that little like notch thing.
This thing?
No, the one that comes up with it.
Oh, that comes up with it, yes.
Uh-huh. Do you also do that for tha and la?
La and va? No. Yeah,
Okay.
they will continue directly on to the next one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Slad, seen will have the notch, sheen will have the notch. So we'll just continue.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any others? Cool. Let's go ahead and jump into our next tense. Actually, I know we've been going for a long time. Let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. It's 9 o'clock. We'll come back at 9:05 and then we will jump into our last scheduled item for today, which is to jump into Mudari'.
More okay.
We'll have more, inshallah, at some point.
Tell me you were gonna win, I got. You are.
Sorry, I started, I forgot to unmute myself. So, just to clarify, for our online folks, so we are talking about the mudari', we are talking about the present slash future tense, highlighting that in Arabic, both present and future will use the same conjugation. They will both use the mudari'. The way you will tell whether a certain sentence is talking about present or future is mainly based off of context. But if you are writing something and you want to clarify and you want to emphasize and you want to highlight that, no, I definitely mean future, you could use one of these two huruf. You can use the sin to indicate near future, or you can use sofa to indicate distant future. You could use these, but you don't have to. They're not necessary because just the fact that something is in the mudari' itself carries the indication of it could be future. Okay. All right, so الفعل المضارع.
Why are you able to put Alif Lam
Why are you putting alif lam? Have you guys covered Mawsul Sifa yet? Okay, you guys will come across it. But basically, when you have an adjective and a word that's being described, they will always match in either both being definite or both being indefinite. So here, because we're talking about the concept, the idea of the present tense, future tense verb, we're using alif lam and we're making them match in that sense. You guys will come across that. All right, so I'm gonna set up my boxes as we always do. Singular, dual, plural. Again, I'm going to use my base verb of fa'ala. Now I'm going to use yaf'alu. All right. Let's talk about this chart a little bit. So again, this is our al-fi'lu al-mudari'u chart. This is our present / future tense. All of our pronouns are still the same. All we are doing is changing the tense in which we are working in. So fa'ala yaf'alu means to do. Fa'ala means he did. Yaf'alu is he is doing. He is doing or he will do. Yaf'alani, they both are doing or they both will do. Yaf'aluna, they both, or sorry, all of them are doing or all of them will do. Okay. So a few things that we note here. First thing to highlight is that similar to the past tense, the present tense haraka that goes on the middle root letter will also vary and depend and change based off of the verb that you are working with. As we've seen with the past tense, it's mostly the case that it will be a fatha. Sometimes it's a kasra. Even more rare is that it's a dhamma. But for the present tense, it's all over the place. You can have a fatha, dhamma, kasra, and all of them are common, right? So you can have, yeah.
Can I ask a quick question, sorry?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, for the dual, all the way down, is it yef, def?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. So,
Yes. Yes, so the haraka that goes on the middle root letter, as you guys have discovered in your vocab list, right? As you guys were memorizing, okay, there's akala ya'kulu, nasara yansuru, okay, there's alima ya'lamu, there is fataha yaftahu, right? And then there is everything in between, right? So there is highly dependent, it's completely memorization based to know what haraka you put on the middle root letter. Everything else that you see, aside from the actual root letters themselves, are stagnant part of the conjugation. So the ya, fatha, the fact that the first root letter always has a sukun, etc., etc., etc. All the letters that you add to the beginning, whatever you do to the end, okay? So one of our key giveaways that we're dealing with a present tense mudari' verb is that we have some letters at the beginning, right? We have some letters that are attached to the front of the verb. There's only 4 options. There's only 4, I guess, choices of what that first letter will be. It'll either be a ya or a ta. Let me just make these dots for everybody. Either a ya or a ta or a hamza or a noon. These are our only 4 options. Okay. All right, let's do what we did last time. What are some unique features that people notice about this chart? What are some patterns that we can start making connections with in our head? Sarah. Good. We've got a lot of repeats here. Third person feminine, second person masculine, second person feminine duals are all the same. All of these are the same. As well as third person feminine and second person masculine singular. These are also the same. Good. What else?
second person is mostly, starts with a ta, and then the third person starts with a ya.
Good. For the most part, all of our second persons all start with a ta. And for our third persons, most of them start with a ya, but we still have 2 tas in the middle that you have to keep track of. What else? Good. Excellent. Our plurals, gender-based plurals, have the same type of ending. Masculines are all una. And then feminines are na. Yes.
The rest of the first 2 squares that you drew, it looks like a lack of pattern versus like you know, but like on the plural side, it's kind of following the same pattern as the rest of the things we've learned. It starts with yeah for the plural, I'm sorry, for the third person, then that for the second person, and then for the first person. Um,
So you're saying that this one kind of doesn't follow the pattern?
no, I feel like the plurals follow a pattern, but the dual and singular, there's like, it's just like, there's no pattern, it just goes yeah for three male.
Oh, I
and
see,
that,
yeah.
that,
Yeah,
pattern. Just
yeah, there's just the memorization aspect of it. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there is a clear connection between those ones. Yeah. Good. All of the duals have the any ending. All of the duals have the any ending. What else?
For the first, oh no, sorry, for all the singulars, except for the second person female, there's nothing at the end.
Good.
Just added to the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit further than that, which is that if we were to categorize all 14 of these boxes into 3 separate sections, which we're going to do probably not next week, but the week after, when we talk about the i'rab of mudari' verbs, we're gonna put 5 conjugations together as one like click. And that is our third person masculine singular, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Everything in a triangle are conjugations that do not add letters to the end. They end in a root letter. All right, so there's no ani, there's no una, there's no ina. It just ends in a root letter. The root letter is the last letter of the conjugation. There's no letters attached to it at all. Right, so all 5 of those kind of go together. They're gonna behave very similarly when we talk about how to deal with i'rab with these types of verbs. Okay, and then one thing that we notice is that the only like oddball that has no twin, that has no similar conjugation, it's isolated on its own with nothing similar is anti. Good, tafa'alina. This one, it did. There's nothing like it. All right. No other conjugation has that ina ending. Everything else has a twin, at least one. All right. Masculine plurals go together. Feminine plurals go together. All the duals go together. All right. In terms of their endings, but there's nothing like the anti conjugation. All right. Anything else? I think that should be sufficient for now. So this is our fi'l mudari' chart. A couple of pointers on things that people mess up on very often. Every single year, I will have people that say this with a ta. Always. Starts with a ya, my friends, okay? It's easy to say it with a ta because you have 2 tas that precede it, right? So people are already in that ta mode. So you have to kind of force your brain to make like an adjustment, go back to yeah just for 1 second, and then you can go back to ta for the next 6 boxes. Okay, so let's go ahead and just read this chart out loud together just to get a flow for it. Okay, ready? Yaf'alu, yaf'alu, taf'alu, yaf'alna, taf'alu, taf'alani, taf'aluna, taf'alina, taf'alani, taf'alna, taf'alu. All right. Let's we don't have too much time left, but let's do a little bit of practice. So here it is on the slide for whenever you want it. This is the version that there is in the book. This is nice because they have we didn't get a chance to write out the translations, but you can kind of see, again, you have the pronoun that matches whatever the verb means, and you're making it in the present or future tense. Okay. All right. Sorry, I should say. All right, let's do some. Joseph, start us off. Let's make it a little bit. We can see the conjugation. So note that all I have is only the haraka on the middle root letter. Because that's the only one that someone has to tell you what it is. You cannot figure it out. There's nothing you can memorize to just say like, oh, this follows particular pattern. You have to be given it. But everything else, based off of our chart, you should be able to figure out what goes on the ya, the fa, and the lam. All right. Only the middle root letter you kind of have to know if you're not familiar with the verb already. So that's why I only give you the haraka on the middle root letter. Go ahead, Joseph.
Is it يفشل?
Good. Yafshalu. And then you're gonna go through the whole chart.
Oh, the whole chart.
Yeah, so you can, this step, we're just practicing, so you can do it with your notes in front of you, all of that good stuff.
يفشل يفشلوا يفشلان يفشلون يفشلين. No,
Oh.
no. تفشلوا
Good.
تفشلاني تفشلنا.
Yafshalna.
أنت تفشلوا أنتما تفشلاني أنتم تفشلون تفشلين. يا تفشلين تفشلاني تفشلنا. Where am I at? I'm in أنا أفشلوا and then نفشلوا.
Good. All right. Hidayah, take us to our next one.
Yes.
Good. So now we've got takhruju. Yakhrujna. Uh-huh. Good. Good. Uh-huh. Akhruju. With the hamza in the front. Akhruju. Uh-huh. Good. All right. Sardar, take us to our next chart.
Problem is, not writing because I'm writing it slow. I will write and then go home. This I didn't know look at.
Okay, you got the verb in your head, yadribu? Let's do it while we're looking. Actually, this one's kind of messy. Let's go just use this one. Or this one is even cleaner. What was that?
How would you show?
Wait, what?
I just did 9:30, I think.
Oh, yes, this class goes over very often. Keep going. You're not getting out of this one.
What does the word?
Yadribu.
That?
Bod.
Yadribu.
Yes.
Yadribu. Yadribu.
He with the rock. Yadribu.
Yadribu. I'm sorry. Yadribu. Yadribuni.
Bani.
Yadribani.
Mm-hmm.
Yadribuna.
Good.
Tadbalu. Tadbaribu.
Tadribu.
Tadribu. Oh shit, what's that? Bani.
Close. Tadribani.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, Tadribani.
Yeah, so the haraka that's, you guys can't really see it, but the haraka that's on the ain is in red. It can depend on the verb.
يدرينا
يضربنا. Good.
يدربنا أد أدري تدريب
تضرب.
تدريبان
Good.
تدريبون
Good.
تدريب 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 تدريبي تدريبينينا
تضربين.
تدريب تدريبان
Mm-hmm.
تدريبنا
Good.
تدريب
أضرب.
أضرب ندرب ندرب
نضرب.
ندرب
نضرب. All right, we got through it. So on our slides, you guys have plenty of practice, okay? So I want you guys to do this on your own. Go through each of these conjugations, practice the chart out loud. You guys also have your vocab list as well to practice all of these verbs, okay? So this is going to be our focus for this week. There's also a whole other, right? So all of these options that you can use to practice, and then you have your vocab list as well. So at this point in the game, we have 3 charts, okay, to keep fresh. So we want to make sure that we're still practicing our pronouns chart, still practicing our Maldi chart, still practicing our Mudari chart, keeping all of those things fresh. Yes, Vania.
Could you just go back to the messy chart?
This one?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I will post the slides. I will also post the homework. It's going to be very similar to what it was last week, just in a Mudari version now. Okay, any other questions on the content? We all clear? Just to clarify for homework, because I know there was some confusion about it. You are going to, for any type of charts or sentences or anything like that, you're just going to go ahead and email them to me. Or any other way that you would prefer to get it to me. It just needs to get to me before class starts. That's when the homework is technically due. 7:30 by next Wednesday. So anything that is submitted before that will be on time, however you submit it to me. So if you see me at IOK, you can give it to me, or you can just send it to me via email. Anything like that is suitable, okay? All right. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah al-azim, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wa sallallahu ala khayri khalqika Muhammad walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What time are we starting?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Amira,
Yes.
don't get used to that.
No, it's just
It's dangerous.
no.
It's
Don't
dangerous.
worry.
Where's Ibrahim?
He's at home.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
Did Ibrahim not go to school because of Amira, or did Amira not go because Ibrahim?
No, it was mutual enabling. We're both a little bit sick. So.
Mutual enabling. Okay, alhamdulillah. As long as everyone's safe and in good health.
Sure.
Sheikh Aisha had a quiz today? Yeah, how'd it go? Easy?
Not easy, but I practice it, but.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
We learned something about Sajjad.
MashaAllah.
He's incredibly competitive.
Oh,
Oh, no, yeah.
He doesn't want to do something unless there's a prize.
oh, okay. Noor, how was it? What did she, was it written or oral or both? Written? What were you asked? So past tense only, no pronouns? Just past tense verbs.
You did like 5 words, put to one time.
Okay, let's do that. Nice. Okay. So yesterday, so we're on what? What is it, guys?
33.
33? Sure. Okay, so we did raf'un yesterday. So it says status 2 nasbun. Nasbun is known as the detail and refers to additional information about an action. When looking for a detail in a sentence, follow a 2-step process. Wallahi, this English stuff is painful to me. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through it. You guys know nasbun? Yes?
Yeah.
Primary sign when you hear nasbun or mansubun. Fathatun, right? When you hear raf'un or marfu'un, primary sign is the dhammatun. And when you hear jarrun or majrurun, the primary sign is kasratun. Okay. The default in an ismun, is it raf'un, nasbun, or jarrun? Huh? Raf'un. Raf'un. The default in an ismun, is raf'un. If I ask you a word, I'm like, hey, what's the word for town, city, or village? The default, you should say qariyatun. Okay? The default in an ismun is raf'un. Yesterday, we introduced a category of words that shows up in verbal sentences that when it comes in a verbal sentence, it will be in the state of nasbun. What was that word in a sentence, Siraj? No. When it plays this specific role in a sentence, it will come in the state of nasbun. Yeah. Abdurrahman, do you remember? Said yesterday we talked about a term. If it comes in a verbal sentence, a term, right? If this word, if it's playing this specific role in a sentence, it will come in the state of nasbun. What was it, Salma? The maf'ulun bihi, which can get translated as the direct object of the verb, right? Like in the sentence, shariba al-muslimuna al-ma'a, right? The Muslims drink the water. Al-ma'a is an ismun. It is a noun. It is not a verb, and neither is it a harfun, right? It is a noun, and because it is the direct object of the verb, meaning it is the thing that the action or the verb fell onto, it will come in the state of nasbun. Sharib al-muslimuna al-ma'a. Okay, good.
If you say ma'un,
It's
they will
wrong.
not understand, right?
It's wrong. Grammatical.
But they will understand the logic.
Who's they? The Arabs.
They will understand it, right?
Maybe. I think they will, but they will look at you very weird, you know. Okay. I'll just read it. Just once I didn't. It says, no, it's painful. I can't do it. I'll read this Arabic example. It says, رأى الكافر المسلمين مصلين. The disbeliever saw the Muslims praying. The first step is to identify the action and the doer of that action, right? In this case, the action is saw, which is the verb, ra'a, and it is being done by al-kafiru, the disbeliever. What did the disbeliever see? He saw the Muslims. He saw the Muslims. How did he see the Muslims? He saw them praying, the Muslims praying. The Muslims praying are the details of what he saw. Notice how Muslim has so far been used as both a doer in the earlier examples and now as a detail. What we are learning is that the same word can have a different status based on its role in the sentence. Depending on what role the word plays in a sentence, it will have a different status, it will have a different label and a different status. The detail is always in the nasbun status. The way you say in the nasbun status in Arabic is mansubun, or you could say nasbun, right? Memorize this term and use it. Okay, status number 3, jarrun. Jarrun has 2 major roles in a sentence. A word is jarrun if it occurs after a preposition. A preposition is on, below, over, in, from, or if the word appears after of. For preposition, the preposition in Arabic could be what's called a harfun, specifically what's called a harfu jarrin. Okay, this is a terminology that I have tried as long as possible to stay away from using, but at this point he says it occurs. So a word is jarrun if it occurs after a preposition. It gives some prepositions: on, below, over, in, from. Now, not all prepositions are the same. So I will prefer to introduce to you the Arabic terminology of harfu jarrin. Harfu jarrin. Do you guys know what a harfun is? Yes? It's particle or participle is said, insists on. And you guys know what jarrun is? Yes? Like raf'un, nasbun, jarrun. So first of all, even before we talk about what a harfun jar, harf jar is, the terminology of the Rahman, harfu jarrin, can you tell me anything about that phrase? No. No.
مضاف مضاف إليه.
مضاف مضاف إليه. مضاف مضاف إليه. حرف جر. Okay? Literally means, we'll translate it as particle of jar. Meaning that if this particle shows up, or if, sorry, because they are huruful jar, right? If any of these particles that show up, word after it will be in what state? Will be majrurun, or in the state of jarrun. That's why it's called harfu jarrin. It's a particle of jar. Any ismun that shows up after it will be in a state of jarrun or majrurun. Make sense? Some of the most famous ones, say were given to you. Some of them were given to you in your book on page 11. So on page 11, at the bottom, you guys see it? Ila. Ila, you can put a check mark next to it. It's a harfu jarrin. Ba with a kasra. Ba with a kasra has many meanings in Arabic. From amongst the meanings is with. But ba with a kasra is a harfu jarrin. Put a check next to it. The waw, which means and, is not a harfu jarrin. The waw, which means and, is not a harfu jarrin. Ma'a. Ma'a essentially acts as a harfu jarrin. Min. Min. Harfu jarrin, of the most famous. Li, which means for or belonging to. Also a harfu jarrin. There's more, but also you can add, I would add ala. Ala. And I would add an. Yes, with an alif maqsura at the end. Ala, an. We had ila on the book, we had min, we had bi.
And means, and it means.
Good. An. An means can be about. Right. In a hadith, it's used like on the authority of. An ibn Abbasin. Means ala can mean, let's use it as on, above, upon. So these are all hurufun. But specifically, they all fall under the category of harfu jarrin. Anything that comes after, any ismun that comes after these prepositions or huruf will be in the state of majrurun. Really quickly. Open up a Quran app on your phone and open up to Surah An-Nas. Open up to Surah An-Nas. Amira, did you hear that? Open up to Surah
Nas, yes.
Nas. What is that, Amira?
It's a mudafun ilayh.
That's a mudafun ilayh. Surah An-Nas. C. Got it? Surah Al-Falaq. Qi. Surah Al-Ikhlas. C. Is that clear? There's Surah Al-Masad. Yeah. Tabbat yada. Surah Al-Nasr. What's the one? Is it Surah Al-Kafirin or Surah Al-Kafirun? Is it Surah Al-Kafirin or Surah Al-Kafirun? No, you said Kafirun. Amira, is it Surah Al-Kafirin or Surah Al-Kafirun?
I don't know.
Surah Al-Kafirin? Kafirun. Is it Surah Al-Kafirin or Surah Al... Who says it's Surah Al-Kafirun? Put your hands up. Who says it's Surah Al-Kafirin? Okay. Rama, you said Surah Al-Kafirun. Explain yourself. Isn't that... Is Surah Al-Nas... Is it Surah Al-Nasu or Surah Al-Nasi? Why? Okay, Suratul Kafi.
Oh, I guess so.
Huh? What's written in the Quran? But just so you know, when the Quran was revealed, like the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't tell them, hey, list the surah as Suratul Kafirun. The names of the surahs is the way you find them in the Quran were written later. Huh? Amira, what do you say?
I looked at the list. I looked at it.
The list. Joseph, what do you say?
Kafirun.
Kafirun. Okay, so logic tells us it should be Suratul Kafirin because mudafun ilayh. Kafirun is in what form? Huh? Raf'un, waw noon, right? What type of plural is this? Jam'ul Mudhakkar Salim. It is Jam'ul Mudhakkar Salim. And Kafirin would then either be Nasbun or Jarrun. Okay? And Suratul Ka, whatever the ending of the word is, what type of construction is that? What type of construction is Suratul Kafi? Mudafun ilayh. So logic tells me it should be Kafirin because it's Mudafun ilayh. But here's where the slight problem arises, right? The surah gets its name. The surah gets its name from the first verse in the surah. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. So specifically here, it's Suratul Kafirun. Linguistically, it's like Suratul Kafirin. But because we're speaking about this specific surah, and the surah gets its name from that word in the first ayah, it's Suratul Kafirun. Okay? Now, go back. More importantly, go to Suratul Nas. Go to Suratul Nas. Allah says after, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. A'udhu, what did I say? Billahi, not billahu and not billaha, but rather billahi. Why? Because the ba, what's the ba called, Noor? Ah, good. Inshallah, you can read from the board. The ba is called harfu jarrin. Therefore, we say A'udhu billahi minash shaitan. The min, as mentioned in your books, the min tayyib is called a, right? It's there on your books, min. And I said, mark it. Harfu jarrin. Minash shaitanu. No. Minash shaitana. No. Minash shaitani. Do you understand that? Then after that you say Bismillahi. Bismillahi. You hear that ba? Yes. Therefore you don't say bismu, bisma, rather you say bismi. Got it? In the name or with the name of who? Allah. Bismillahu. Bismillaha. Bismillahi. Why does the word ismi have a kasra at the end? Because it was preceded by a, come on guys, harfu jarrin. Okay, why does the word Allah have a kasra at the end, Muhammad Mardini? Abdullah, Siraj, Grant, Mudafun ilayhi. Why does the word Allah have a kasra at the end? Because it is the Mudafun ilayhi. Ismillahi. Yes? Do you guys remember the conditions of the Mudafun and the Mudafun ilayhi? The relationship, right? It's name of Allah. We said linkage can be ownership or some type of relationship. Okay? So look. What comes first? The mudafun or the mudafun ilayh? The mudafun, we mentioned that, right? Yes, okay. So, the phrase, Bismillahi, Bismillahi. Siraj, identify the mudafun and mudafun ilayh. Where is it?
Ismi is a mudafun.
You added a letter.
Oh,
Grant.
Ismu is mudaf and Allah is mudafi alayh.
Good.
Mudafu alayh.
What did Grant do? He eliminated the ba. The ba, because the ba is called a harfu jarrin. Clear? So the mudafun is the word ismun, and the mudafun ilay is the word Allah. Got it? Which word is the mudafun? Ismun. Correct? Okay. First word in the phrase. Did ismun come before the word Allah? Yes? Check. The mudafun can be in any of the three states. Bismi. What state is ismi in? Everyone, what state is ismi in? Jarrun. DJ, why is ismi in Jarrun state? Noor, why is it in Jarrun state? She said because it's preceded by a harfu jarrun. That's not what she initially said. She said harfu jarrun, but she should no longer say that. Right. Inshallah, make tawbah after class. But she said it is preceded by a harfu jarrun, but it can be in any three states. The mudafun will not take tanweenun. Does ismun in that phrase bismi have tanween? No, right? The mudafun will be nakiratun. Is it al-ismu? No, it doesn't have the alif lam. So it is nakira. Clear? The mudafun ilay. Which word did we say was the mudafun ilay? Allah, right? So the mudafun ilay will always be in a state of jarrun. Bismillah, he. The mudafun ilay will most of the time be ma'rifah. The word Allah, by its nature, it is ma'rifah. Clear? Bismillah, he. Look at Surah An-Nas. Allah says, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. First of all, the ba. Do you see the ba? B. What is the ba called, guys? Harfu jarrin. Why is Rabbi majrurun? Because it is preceded by a harfu jarrin. Why is an-nasi majrurun in sha'? Because it's a mudafun ilay. Good. Malikin nasi. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind. Malikin nasi, the king of mankind. Isa, why is an-nasi in the second verse majroor? Mudafun ilayhi. Ilahin nasi, the Lord, the God of mankind. Mishal, why is an-nasi majroor in the third verse? Mudafun ilay. Phenomenal. I'm going to skip over. Go to the fifth verse. Speaking about shaitan, Allah says, Alladhi yuwaswisu. This is a verb. Yuwaswisu means to whisper. Okay? Alladhi yuwaswisu fi. I think I forgot to write fi amongst the afjars. Fi, which we can translate as in. Okay? Fi is also a harfu jar. Allah speaking about shaitan says, Alladhi yuwaswisu fi. Fi. What did I just label fi as, Abdurrahman? Harfu jarrin. Good, Abdurrahmani. Fi sudurin nasi. Siraj, why is suduri? First of all, what state is suduri in, Siraj? Jarrun. What is it? Jarrun. Phenomenal. Good. What does sudur mean, Sardar?
Sudur is, I don't know.
What does it mean?
Yes.
Chest. It's the plural of sadrun. Clear? So suduri is majroor because it was preceded by a harfu jarrin. And why is an-nasi majroor, Hidayah? You thought because you didn't come yesterday, I forgot. It is the mudafun ilay. It is the mudafun ilay. Hidayah, did you get a chance to watch yesterday's recording? Not yesterday's? Okay. I would watch it. Because if you don't watch it, then the dua that everyone made in class that was led by Amira will apply to you. And that is one of the du'as that is made by the believers that you don't want to apply to you. Would you agree, Amira? She agrees. Okay. Fi sudurin nasi. Got it? And nasi is majroor because it is the mudafun ilayh. Look at the surah above it. Surah al-Falaq. Why is it al-Falaqi insha? It's the mudafun ilayh. Let's get it out. I just need you to blurt it out. قل أعوذ برب الفلق. Nur, why is Rabbi majroor? Because it is preceded by a harfu jarrin. Mishal, al-falaqi. Why is al-falaqi majroor? Mudafun ilay. Mishal, if that is the mudafun ilay, that means each mudafun ilay needs a mudafun. Where is its mudafun, Mishal? Promise, I'm not asking trick questions. Samira? Salma? Rabbi, it is most likely the word before it. Nothing will come between a mudafun and a mudafun ilay. Who will come between a mudafun and a mudafun ilay? Nothing. So if you identify a word as a mudafun ilay, and I ask you, where is the mudafun? With your eyes closed and your hands behind your back, say it's the word before it. Is that clear? Got it. Okay, good. Let's make this easy.
You just give me the definition one more time.
In. Look at Surah Al-Masad. Look at Surah Al-Masadi. Tabbat yada. DJ, why is it Surah Al-Masadi and not Masadu or Masada? It's a mudafun ilayh. Which word? Good. Where's the mudafun? Abdurrahman. Where's the mudafun then? Guys, who will come between a mudafun and a mudafun ilayh? Nobody. Nothing. Abdurrahman, Muhammad. If al-Masadi is the mudafun ilayh, where's the mudafun? Which is what word? Surah 2. It's not a trick question. Al-Masadi is the mudafun ilayh. Where's the mudafun? All you have to say is Surah 2. Is that clear? Yes? Yeah. Is there anything about that is unclear? If you say Al-Masadi is the mudafun ilayh and I ask you where's the mudafun, then choose the word before it. Is that clear? Good. Allah is speaking about, in verse number 4, Allah is speaking about the wife of Abu Lahab. Allah is speaking about the wife of Abu Lahab. And he says, وَامْرَأَتُهُ. Do you remember what imra'atun means? What? Woman / wife. وَامْرَأَتُهُ. We haven't talked about attaching pronouns to ismuns. But وَامْرَأَتُهُ, his wife, Allah says she is حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ, the carrier of, the one who carries hatab. Hatab is firewood, wood that is used to light a fire. Okay? Allah calls her حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ. Siraj, why is al-hatabi majroorun? Because it's the mudafun ilay. If it's the mudafun ilay, then Joseph, which word is the mudafun?
The one that precedes it.
Which the word that precedes it, which is the word hammalata. Good. Look at Surah Al-Nasri. Surah Al-Nasri, the surah before it. Allah says, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ, that when the help or the victory of Allah and the conquest come, وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ, and you see the people. And you see who?
The people.
People. Anyone know who this surah is speaking to? Huh? The Prophet ﷺ. This surah is speaking to the people. Allah says, وَرَأَيْتَ. وَرَأَيْتَ. You guys have learned how to conjugate past tense verbs? Yes? What's a verb that Shaykh Aisha asked you today? Sami'a. What does sami'a mean?
To hear.
To hear. How do you say you heard? Sami'ta. What's another verb she asked you? Qara'a. What does qara'a mean? To read. How do you say you read? You didn't answer like that on the test. Yes. You didn't answer like that on the test, did you? If I put a prize to it, would you get it right? Grant, what's the answer? Qara'ta. You read. Okay. There's a verb. You'll take it later because it's one of those strange verbs, has a weak letter. But the verb is ra'a. Ra'a of the meanings is to see. Okay. So when you conjugate it, that becomes a ya. So you saw becomes ra'ayta. Is that clear? So this surah is addressing who? The Prophet ﷺ. Allah says, وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ. Amira. An-nasa. Why is it an-nasa? It's not an-nasu. It's not an-nasi. Why is it an-nasa?
Because it's the maf'ulun bihi.
Because it's the maf'ulun bihi. Phenomenal. It is the maf'ulun bihi. Translate the maf'ulun bihi for all those that forgot the translation, Amira.
The direct object of the verb.
It is the direct object of the verb. Who is it speaking to? The Prophet ﷺ. وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ. And you see the people. Do you understand why it's وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ and not na-su and na-si? And if someone read it like that, it would be completely incorrect. And you see the people, يَدْخُلُونَ. You will learn to conjugate. Did Shaykh Aisha talk about? Oh.
But it was like the last 5 minutes of class.
Last 5 minutes of class?
It wasn't like the whole class.
They say that 5 minutes is enough.
Who's they?
Huh?
Who's they?
The people. An-nas. So you guys learn to conjugate present tense verbs? Exciting. There's not much left to learn. If I taught you جملة اسمية جملة فعلية مبتدأ خبر فعل فاعل مفعول به, and yesterday I taught you مضاف إليه, and then today I taught you حرف جر, and today you learn to conjugate present tense verbs. I mean, like, you're good. You're done. You're basically done. Everything else is a detail at this point. Huh? Some people will no longer have classes. There are some people that will no longer have classes. We made dua for them yesterday. Okay. Allah says, وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ. And you see the people يَدْخُلُونَ, entering. Fi. Mishal, what is fi called? Get it out. That's not what you were going to say originally. You changed your answer to a wrong answer. You were going to say maf'ulun. Good. So you had one wrong answer and you went to a different wrong answer. So you were going to say maf'ulun bi, which was the incorrect answer. And then you said mudafun ilayh, which is also an incorrect answer. But Mishal, the answer that I was looking for, fi is a Salma? Harfu jarrin. It is a harfu jarrin, right there. Harfu jarrin. Clear? Fi is a harfu jarrin. Clear? So Mishal, the word, the ism that comes after fi is going to be in what state? No, you answered a different question. The word that comes after fi is going to be in what state? How many states are there in Arabic, Michelle? Good. You're answering different questions than the one I'm asking. But yes, you cut to the chase. How many states are there in Arabic? Got him. How many? Four. And ismun can be in one. How many states? Three. Got it? So fi is a harfu jarrin. The word that comes after it is going to be in the state of jarrun. Do you understand why it's fi dini and not fi dinu or fi dina? Yes? Okay. Dinillahi. Dinillahi. Why is the word Allah majroor tayyib? Mudafun ilayhi. Okay? Yeah, mudafun is deen. The mudafun ilayhi is the word Allah. Okay? Now, something I need you to know is that this book, it uses this terminology of the word that is before of and the word that is after of. Listen to that again. It uses this terminology of the word that is before of and the word that is after of. Now, let me give you an example. Dinillahi, religion of Allah. Religion of Allah. Got it? The word that came before of is religion. The word that came after of is Allah. Okay? But there comes a point where we need to stop using that terminology, and the before of, we'll just call it Nur, A. No. We'll call it Isa, A. Mudafun. And the after of, Rama will call it A. Mudafun ilay. Got it? Yesterday we had the child or the son of the Muslims. Got it? We can use Muslim's child, but before of, after of helps us, right? The child of the Muslims. What's before of? Child. What's after of? Muslims. Got it? Mudaf, mudafun ilayh. Does that make sense? So before of is the mudafun, after of is the mudafun ilayh. Fi dinillahi. Religion of Allah. What word is before of? It's an English question. Religion, right? So deen is your mudafun. What word is after of? Allah. So that's your mudafun ilay. Good.
Wait, so something can come between the two? Mudafun,
No. When we translate it into English, we're almost forced to use of. But there is nothing between the two words in Arabic. You say Dinillahi, religion of Allah. Of does not have an Arabic equivalent.
Always practically stated by the way you set up your vowels.
Exactly. Of is being incorporated into your Arabic phrasing of that thing, right? Yes. It doesn't work all the time in translation, right? But it's a terminology the book uses to talk about mudafun ilay, before of, after of, right? Look at Surah Al-Ma'un. Look at Surah Al-Ma'un. The third verse. Allah in this surah is speaking about people that are disbelievers and deny resurrection and have other bad qualities. Of their qualities, in verse number 3, he says, وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. يَحُضُّ means to like encourage, right? So they do not encourage and promote ala. Ala, Sardar. Ala. What's ala called?
I think it's the harfu jarri.
Ala is harfu jarrin. طعام المسكين. طعام المسكين. Muhammad Fardeen, what state is طعامي in?
It's been jarified by Ala.
Good, it's been
So,
jarified as
majroor.
new terminology. It's in the state of jar or majroor because of ala. I'm about to get somebody right now. I'm about to catch somebody sleeping right now, okay? About to catch somebody sleeping right now. Putting them on notice right now, okay? So,
Sheikh, I'm embarrassed. I can't find the surah.
ma'am.
Surah. Yeah.
It's right after, right before Surah Al-Kawthar.
Am I missing a page?
Now
It's an
Isa's having a hard time finding it. Now we got other issues.
I mean, I recite it every day. Yeah, missing a page. It's missing a page? It's just a PDF.
You got a bootleg Musaf?
I can't look this up.
He's got the biggest anchor truck in the world, but he can't get a proper copy of Musaf. Okay, listen, guys, listen. Joseph, we're about to get him right now. About to get him. I didn't have a proper breakfast, Joseph, so this is gonna have to do. This is where I get my fuel. Ta'ami. What state is Ta'ami in? Jarr, because it was preceded by ala, right? Harfu jarrin. Ta'am al-miskin. They don't encourage ala upon ta'am al-miskin, like feeding of the poor. Feeding of the poor. Does that make sense? What type of construction is that? Mudafun ilay, right? طعام المسكين. أميرة. طعام المسكين. طعام المسكين. Siraj. Al-Miskin. What state is Al-Miskin in? Correct. Why? Listen to the questions. What state is it in? Jarun. Correct. Why?
Instinctively, I'm thinking it's the Mudafun ilay, but
Let's go with your instinct. Your instinct is right. He said instinctively, I'm thinking it's the Mudafun ilay. He's correct. That is why it is in Jarun. Did you hear the first question? The first question is, what state is it in? In chat, you know where we're going with this? Oh, my third question. Okay. So the first question is, what state is it in? He said Jarun. The second question was, why is it Jarun? He said it's because Mudafun ilay. And I said that is correct. Siraj, the third question is that how is it showing you that it is in the state of Jar?
is it the
Got a statement or a question?
Yanun?
Is it the Yanun? Is it the Yanun? That's a question or a statement. Amira, how's it showing that it's in the state of Jar?
Is this word like an exception to the rule that we normally use?
I don't get asked questions like this.
I don't know.
How is it showing you that it is in the state of Jar?
I don't know.
You don't know.
No.
Joseph.
Is it because of the Madafum? Are you asking like by itself or the combinations? That's the reason why.
No, so he said it's in a state of Jar. The reason it's in a state of Jar is it's because it's the Mudafun ilay. Now, how is that specific word showing you that it's in a state of Jar? Now, pause for a second. If you remember, we went through like certain words show that they're in a state of any state that they're in, they show it through vowel signs, and other words show it through letters, right? Correct? So when I ask you, how is it showing, then you have to tell me that it is showing me through this specific vowel sign or through this specific letter. Does that make sense? Joseph, how is it showing you that it's in the state of Jar?
Because of the ending, the ending letters.
Which are?
Yeah, noon.
Yeah, noon.
Are you asking because that the reason?
How is it showing you that it's in a state of jar? Through the ending letters. Yeah, noon. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna say. no.
Isa?
Well, if it's.
Well, if it's, I don't need a long explanation.
You just want-
Okay, Joseph, let me work with you. You said it's the Yanun. Listen, guys, listen. You said it's the Yanun, right?
Yeah.
Noor, you agree? You don't agree? I'll end class right now if you get this right. No, I'm joking.
But Yanun is always Ina or Una, and it's Uni, Ini. So I think it's the vowel.
Wow, did you hear that, guys? No, she said, if it's the Yanun, that means it also has a combination of Wawnun and Yanun, which would then mean it's a Jam'ul Mudhakkar Salim, the sound masculine plural. And she said sound masculine plurals also always end Una and Ina. How do they end? Una and Ina. So this one ends Miski Ni, which indicates to me that it is not a Jam'ul Mudhakkar Salim, rather it is just a singular word. It is a mufradun word that's in the state of jar that is using a kasra. The other way to know that is, I'm thinking most of you have heard the word miskinun before, yes? If the ya noon was the indication that's in the state of jar, that means you should always also be able to say miskunun. Have you ever heard the word miskunun? Because it's not a word. The ya noon over here is not the ya noon that gets added to a Jam'ul Mudhakkar Salim, because if it was, it would be e na or u na. This is miski ni. This ya noon is part of the word. This ya noon is part of the word. This is a singular word, and singular words show their states through vowel signs. So you would say miskinun, miskinan, miskinin, or if you had alif lam, al miskinu, al miskina, and al miskini. And all of you that got it wrong, you're masakin. Got it? Which is the plural of miskin. Yes.
So this is just a Jam'ul Taksir. That's why.
It's not a text, it's a singular word.
Miskin?
Miskin. Masakin.
Oh, miskin is a singular.
Miskinun is a singular word. You can say miskinun, miskinan, miskinin. Yes, Saad. What are the root letters for miskin? Technically, the sin, the kaf, and the nun. Okay, so this is for those of you online, I think you understand this. This is ala ta'am al-miskin. Once again, going back, tying it all back. Ta'ami is majroor because it was preceded by a mishal. Help her out, Noor. What's it called? Because it was preceded by a harfu jarr. Mishal, say harfu jarr. Say it again. One more time. Good. Because ta'ami is majroor because it was preceded by harfu jarrin, right? And then miskini is in the state of jar. Why? Because it's a mudafun ilay. And how is it showing you that it is in the state of jar? Through a salma? Through a kasra. Thank you so much. Where? Which case? I was ending the ayah. Because I kept saying ta'am al-miskin. I was ending the ayah, but also trying to hide, what Nur was able to pick up on. Right? Even if you look at the next verse, look at the next verse, right? Allah says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, right? And then Allah says after it, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. So Allah is criticizing those who pray in a lazy manner, or those who pray and they're trying to show off. Okay, but that passage starts with the phrase فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Wail gets translated as like woe, W-O-E, which basically means destruction. Okay, destruction to the musallin. Now this is the specific musallin that pray in a lazy manner and pray to show off. Something I'll kind of incorporate throughout the months in class, if Allah blesses you to stick around, if Allah gives me life, is certain things in the Quran, right? Whether we're looking at the i'rab of the Quran and why certain words are certain statuses, or certain other things, right? One of like the secondary, I don't call it a science of the Quran, but one of the things that deals with the recitation of the Quran is something that is known as in Arabic al-waqf wal-ibtida, like stopping and starting, where you can stop and where you can start, right? Now you're like, okay, well, I can start at the beginning of ayah and I can stop at the end of an ayah. That's basic. Yes, but what happens when you're in the middle of a long ayah? Clear? Okay. Or what happens when you stop at the end of an ayah, right? And then you say, Allahu Akbar, and you kind of left an incorrect meaning, or you just kind of left it at a cliffhanger where you shouldn't have left it at. Does that make sense? So hypothetically, if someone is praying and they're like, like they were, trying to do a short salah, right? So like, I'm gonna read Surah Ma'un in 2 rak'ats, okay? So like, Allahu Akbar, they read Surah Al-Fatiha, right? And they start reading Surah Al-Ma'un, and they read Surah Al-Ma'un, and in the first rak'ah, they're like, they want to break the surah into 2, right? So they don't know what to do, right? They just know like, hey, I know the ayat, I don't know the meaning. So they stop at فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, and they go, Allahu Akbar. Perfect, they stopped at the ayah, it's all good. What's the problem here? The problem here is the meaning is bad. The meaning is bad, it's incomplete. You stopped at a verse where Allah said, woe to those who pray. Allahu Akbar. And you're praying yourself. Like it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. What is the word musallin followed by? Alladhina. Do you remember Alladhina? What was the category of words called? Al-Asma'ul Mawsula. What was Al-Asma'ul Mawsula translated as? What was it translated as? Connecting words. And you broke a connection. And that's why your meaning in your prayer doesn't make any sense. فَوَيْلُ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Woe to those who pray. Allahu Akbar. Like what does that mean? Right? Another reason is very important to learn Arabic is so that when you do read Quran, whether you're hafiz or not hafiz, have something memorized or don't have anything memorized, is so that when you pray with a level of understanding and you're stopping and starting at the right places. Does that make sense? Now, the more proper stop, if you're trying to do Surah Al-Ma'un in 2 rak'ahs, now some of you are going to try to do this today, would be وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينَ, and they do not encourage the feeding of the poor. Fine. Allahu Akbar. Full meaning. Get up, Surah Al-Fatiha, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ. Now you haven't changed the meaning of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended. Is that clear? Yes? Okay. I'll give you one more. Okay? Give you one more. Amira.
Yes.
One of the phrases that is often used in the Quran when Allah speaks about paradise, he says Jannatin. Everyone know what Jannatin is? Jannatin is gardens, right? Or it's a word that refers to paradise, right? Allah says, Jannatin tajri min tahtiha al-anharu. Heard it before, Mira? Do you know what it means? Jannatin tajri min tahtiha al-anharu. What does it mean?
Like gardens beneath which rivers flow.
Ah, good, good, good. She said gardens, gardens beneath which rivers flow. Got it? So Jannatin is what word? Gardens. Got it? Tajri means to flow. Tajri means to flow. Min means from. Tahtiha means beneath it. And anhar means rivers. Got it? So when Allah talks about paradise, He says it's gardens, right? Tajri min tahtiha al-anhar. From beneath which rivers flow. Someone's reading, Amira, and they run out of breath. Okay? And they know they have to, they're not going to make it to the end of the verse. Okay? Right? Like سورة البينة إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات أولئك هم خير البرية جزاؤهم عند ربهم there we go, okay? جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن, gardens of Eden, جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا. Yes? So someone starts that verse, Amira, and they're running out of breath, right? جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري. They go back. What happened, Amira? Explain.
Sorry?
What happened?
What happened in terms of what? Like the meaning?
Person ran out of breath, yeah.
What happened to the meaning of the?
Yeah, what happened to the meaning?
It's incomplete.
Does anyone catch it? So the person was reading جزاؤهم, the believers, جزاؤهم, their reward will be what? جنات عدن, gardens of Eden. تجري من تحتها الأنهار. That's what the verse says. Gardens of Eden, beneath which rivers are flowing. The person ran out of breath, so they said جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري. They said gardens of Eden that are flowing. What did they say? Gardens of Eden that are flowing. What are gardens that are flowing? Do you see how they altered the meaning? See how the person altered the meaning? Now what they're going to do is they're going to go back and they're going to fix it. But their stop was a bad stop because they altered the meaning. Does that make sense? What they should have done if they were running out of breath was said جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن. Stop. Their reward with their Lord are gardens of Eden. Go back. جنات عدن تجري من تحتها الأنهار. But do you see how one word, stopping at it, changed the meaning and gave it an incorrect meaning? جزاؤهم عند ربهم جنات عدن تجري. Gardens of Eden that are flowing. Since when do gardens flow? Gardens don't flow. It's the rivers beneath the gardens that flow. Does that make sense? Yes? Right? Once again, goes back to grammar, goes back to meaning, understanding what you're reading, or you'll just kind of, right, end up with, you know, your own version of the Quran. That's no longer the Quran. Clear? And sometimes, unfortunately, once again, you find it. Once again, sometimes it happens because it's in the moment. But sometimes you find people that are leading prayer that are not so experienced or don't understand what they're reading. And once again, it might happen once in a while, just in the spur of the moment. But sometimes you find it to be a common thing amongst people because they don't know what's being recited. They ran out of breath, so like, I can stop here and I know how to stop at the end of this word, and I'll just go back a few words. Does that make sense? Good. Going back really quickly to Surah Al-Fil. Go to Surah Al-Fil. I was on Surah Al-Ma'un. Go to Surah Al-Fil. Allah says, ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. Have you not seen, have you not considered كيف, how فعل ربك, your Lord dealt with, your Lord did to أصحاب الفيل, the companions of the elephant. This is talking about Abraha and his army when they were trying to attack the Kaaba and destroy the Kaaba. Clear? They are called أصحاب الفيل, right? فعل is a past tense verb. Got it? See? Past tense verb. Okay? فعل ربك, فعل ربك, فعل ربك. Which one, guys? فعل ربك. Why, Muhammad Fardeen? Why فعل ربك?
فعل ربك. I don't know this one.
Joseph, why فعل ربك? What state is Rabbu in? Let's answer that question first. Joseph.
Rabbu.
Raf'un. Good. It's the Raf'un state, Joseph. Okay, now why Rabbu? Why Rabbu? Why not Rabba, Rabbi? Why Rabbu?
I just came back, I'm sorry.
It's all good. Khadija, do you know?
Like why? Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Why is Rabbu marfu'un? Why is Rabbu marfu'un? Why does it have a dhamma? Sa'ad. It's the fa'ilun. What is it, Sa'ad? Fa'ilun. What's the fa'ilun get translated as? Doer. Fa'ala. Isn't that the verb that Shaykh Aisha gave you to start off teaching you about past tense verbs? Yes? To do, to deal with. Who dealt with the companions of the elephant? Allah. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala Rabbu. Not Rabba, not Rabbi, but rather Rabbu, because the word Rabb is fa'il. Is that clear? Allah says fa'ala Rabbuka bi. Bi. Mishal, what's ba called? You're so close. You're so close. It's getting better. There we go. Harfu jarrin. The ba is called Harfu jarrin. Hidayah. Why is what state is ashabi in? What state is ashabi in? Good. Why? Because it was preceded by a Mishal, because it was preceded by a Sardar, because it was preceded by a Harfu jarrin. Ba is a harfu jarrin. Ashabi is majrurun because it was preceded by a harfu jarrin. Grant, what state is al-fili in? Majrurun. Why is it majrurun? Because it's the ilayhi. Because it's the mudafun ilayhi. Good. It's the mudafun ilayhi. Where's the mudafun? Ashabi, right? Good. Okay. Go back to your books. Now he said we were on jarrun, correct? He says jarrun has two major roles in a sentence. A word is jarrun if it occurs after a preposition. Okay, we'll just for right now understand preposition as harfu jarrin. Or listen, or if the word appears after of. What is after of, Abdurrahman? Yeah. What is after of? What is after of, DJ? Allah. What is after of? Mudafun ilayh. What is after of? Mudafun ilayh. What is before of? Mudafun. What is after of? Mudafun ilay. Once again, he says jarrun has two major roles in a sentence. A word is jarrun if it occurs after a preposition. What preposition, Michal? Harfu jar. You're not going to forget it, inshallah. Or if the word appears after of. What is after of? Mudafun ilayh. After of is quite literally the word that occurs after of, though. As we'll learn, there's no of in the Arabic language. Take a look at the following example. Kitabul Muslimina ala rafi. Kitabul Muslimina ala rafi. The book of the Muslims is on the shelf. Okay? Muhammad, if I were to ask you why kitabu is marfu', your answer should be that is the default state of an ismun. Is that clear? Yeah? Hidayah, why is kitabu marfu'? One more time, it's the default state of a? Good, it's a default state of an ismun. Good, after that you have the word al-muslimina. Al-muslimina. Muhammad Fardeen, what state is al-muslimina in?
It's in the mansubun.
It's in the mansubun state. Good. And how is it showing you that it's in the mansubun state?
Because of the fatha on the noon.
Because of the fatha on the noon. Sardar, al-muslimin is in what state? Majrurun. How is it showing you that it's majrurun? How is it showing you that it's majrur? Ending letters, what ending letters? The ya and noon. Why are you saying it's majrurun? What role is it playing? Grant?
Mudafun ilayhi.
Mudafun ilayhi. Muhammad Fardeen. Kitabul Muslimina, the book of the Muslims. Remember before?
Oh,
After of.
yeah. Mudaf,
Right?
mudaf ilayhi.
Don't always look at the fatha at the end of the word. Rather, identify the word. What type of word is it? Salma, what type of word is this? It's type of plural. What is the plural called? Jam'ul Mudhakkar Salim. Good, right? Al-Muslimuna, Al-Muslimina. So Al-Muslimina. Once again, Al-Muslimina in chat. What state is it in? Majrurun. Why is it in the state of jarrun? Because it's the mudafun ilay. And how is it showing you that it is in the state of jarrun? The ya noon, phenomenal. Once again, 3 questions. What state is it in? She said jarrun. Why is it in the state of jarrun? Because it's the nur, mudafun ilay. And how is it showing you that it's in the state of jarrun? The ya noon, because ya noon, right, is an indication for sound masculine plural to show that it's in the state of jar. Good. Ala, Michelle, what's ala called? Harfu jarrin, it's working. Ar-Rafi. Rania, what state is Ar-Rafi in? Maryam, what state is Ar-Rafi in? Khadija, what state is Ar-Rafi?
It's majroor.
Majroor. Good. Why is it majroor, Maryam?
Because after a harf jar.
Because it came after a harfu jarrin. Good. This status is straightforward and easy to spot. There are some cases, however, in which the of is not clear and the sentence must be rearranged to make the of easy to spot. I think, Selma, you asked that question, right? That the of doesn't always work and sometimes you have to rearrange the phrase to get the of. The fragment, this is an example in English. The fragment, Mecca's Muslims, for instance, can be rearranged to read the Muslims of Mecca. In this case, the word Mecca is the word after of. Okay, and the word Muslims would be the before of. How do you know when a fragment needs rearranging? Whenever you see a possession, his, hers, my, our, the fragment can be arranged to show the of. In other words, the possessor is going to be after of, and therefore jarrun status, right? So when the mudafun ilayh is showing possession, the possessor will be the second term. The possessor will be the second term when it's showing possession.
If we're like looking at it from the mudaf ilayh perspective, can we just forget about this of stuff?
Yes,
Because it's more confusing.
I agree. I completely agree. I completely agree. Okay, 3.3. 3.3. Times the class in today. 11:30? Oh no.
There's nothing afterwards, just keep.
3.3, how to tell status. How to tell status. Guys, this is a review. This part will be a review. This part will be a review. Okay. In English, we were able to determine status based on the meaning. In Arabic, however, status is determined by a marker or a sign at the end of the word. Now you know there are 3 statuses in Arabic. Muhammad Mardini, how many statuses in Arabic? 3. Technically, I said there are 4, but only an ismun has 3, just so you know, right? There are, however, more than 3 status markers or signs. In other words, there are more than 3 ways that the status of a word can show itself. This is because each status can show in different ways depending on the number and gender of the word. Try not to get lost in all that English. It is important to keep in mind that whenever you are trying to figure out the status of an ismun, you must look at the ending of the word. As a reminder, there are 2 types of endings we will see: ending vowels and ending combinations. The number/gender variations are singular. What's the word for singular, Sardar? Mufradun. Abdurrahman, dual. Muthanna, masculine or sound masculine plural. Ahmed, sound masculine plural. DJ, Jam'u al-Mudhakkar al-Salim and feminine plural. Let's say sound feminine plural. Ahmed, Jam'u al-Mudhakkar al-Salim. Let's look at the charts below. Now, notice how each status looks different depending on the number and gender of the word. The word Muslimun is the base. Anything that changes from one status to the next, whether it is a harakatun, vowel, or letters, is part of the status marker. Notice that we memorized the first row in our study of gender and number already. Memorize these charts. Okay, so you have, guys, this is a review, right? Look at the singular word. Muslimun, musli, men. We're going down. 1 column at a time. Column this way, right? Muslimun, musliman, muslimin. The primary vowel sign for raf'un insha is a dhammatun. Abdullah, the primary vowel sign for nasbun is fathatun. Siraj, the primary vowel sign for jarrun is kasratun. Then dual, you have muslimani, muslimaini, and muslimaini. That's for dual words, right? So in the dual, what one letter, listen, in the dual, what one letter indicates to you that a word is in the raf'un state? What one letter indicates to you that something is in the raf'un status? Joseph?
For dual,
Yes.
1 letter, alif.
1 letter. Alif. He didn't say alif noon. He said alif because the alif is relevant because the other 2 also end in noon. The alif is the most relevant. Nasbun and jarrun muslimaini and muslimaini. Is that clear? Yes, we've learned this. The plural, muslimuna. So what letter matters here? What one letter matters the most here, Rama? Wow, right? Muslimina and muslimina. Clear? And remember, the dual ends ani and aini. The noon will always have a ani and aini. The noon will always have a kasra. And in the sound masculine plural, the noon will always have a fatha. Guys, Amira, you can't tell, but they are struggling right now. Take a 5-minute break, walk around, eat something, do something, converse with somebody, we'll have 15 minutes. They were struggling to me enough. They looked like they were fasting. 5 minutes. Sadar, can you call the guys in?
Of course, you interview. Yeah.
All right. Bismillah. First thing that Selma asked was in regards to tomorrow's quiz. We're gonna push off tomorrow's quiz to next week. Depending on how far we get tomorrow, I will tell you if I specify a day next week, right? There's no quiz tomorrow. There is no quiz tomorrow, which means that you have longer technically to memorize the vocab, okay, if you haven't. Okay, the second chart that he gives you is the feminine. Muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin. That's all mufrad, and that's all singular. Then you have the dual of muslimatun. So muslimatani, muslimataini, muslimataini. In the raf'un, your important letter in the dual is alif. In the nasbun and jarrun status in the dual, your important letter is the ya. Good. Then you have the plural feminine. The plural feminine technically uses vowel signs. It's formed by adding letters to the end, alif and ta, but its status is defined by vowel signs. So you have muslimatun, which would be in the state of raf'un, and then you only have muslimatin. And the two kasras could either indicate that it's in the state of nasbun or it's in the state of jar. Okay. Singular, the word muslimun is the base and status marker is the haraka, right? I can skip that, right? So you have as-salimu or salimun, as-salima and saliman, as-salimi and salimin. To make a singular word feminine, just add a ta marbuta to the end of the word. This makes the base for the feminine muslimatun. The status marker is the haraka. This idea of ending ta to the end of the word, does it always work? Can you add it to any word? No, right? You're not going to say baytatun, right? Baytun, baytun, that's a real ta, that's not a ta marbuta, is a masculine word. Clear? Similarly, qaryatun, village, town, city, is a feminine word. You're not going to take off the ta, right? But this idea of adding the ta or removing the ta is generally for like basically an adjective, something that can describe a person or someone doing something, right? Okay, so he says, what does he say? Okay, you don't have to write this. It says change the given word into the singular. What? Change the given word into the singular of the three different statuses, then translate. It just wants you to basically put it in all three states and give the meaning. Go ahead. Tayyib, do number one.
Just you want me to Rabbun, Rabbin?
Yeah, Rabbun, Rabban, Rabbin. And the Lord, the meaning is master deity, right? Isa, number two.
Makanun, makanan, makanin.
Makanun, makanan, makanin, which means place, grant.
Ardun, ardan, ardin.
Ardun, ardan, ardin, which means earth or land. Siraj, four.
Fuadun, fuadan, fuadin.
Fuadun, fuadan, fuadin, which means
Emotional heart. What?
Emotional heart / intellect. Sardar, five. Don't stretch the ya. Ayatun. Don't stretch the ya. Ayatun, ayatan, ayatin. If you stretch the ya, it becomes the plural. Ayatun, ayatan, ayatin, sign, miraculous sign, verse. Muhammad Mardini, 6. Shay'un, shay'an, shay'in, which means thing or something. Rama, 7. Ilahun, ilahan, ilahin, which means God, deity. Mishal, 8. طفل طفلا طفلا طفل, which means child, infant, child. هدية. هدية. No, هداية. صبح صبحا صبح. Which means إنشاء, dawn or morning. And 10, Samira. قوي قويا and قويين, which means Noor, which means strong. Okay. Then he goes over the dual. He goes over the dual. I'm going to skip over it. I'm going to jump to drill 2. Okay. I'm going to skip over it. I'm going to go to drill 2. Drill 2 basically wants you to put the singular word in the dual in all 3 states and give the meaning. Give the meaning of the singular. Amira, number 1.
Aduun would become aduwani and aduwina. No?
What? Excuse me?
Aduwani?
Aduun would become
Aduwani?
and
Aduwina?
Mira. It's a problem. That's a problem. It's a big problem. Joseph, what's the answer?
Aduwani and Aduwani.
Aduwani and Aduwaini. Aduwani and Aduwaini. And Joseph, Aduwan means?
Is it like enemy?
Yes, yes. Not me. But Aduwani, Aduwaini, Aduwaini, and it becomes enemy. Good. Khadija, number 2.
Khalilani.
Khalilani and?
Khalilay.
Yeah, Khalilaini and Khalilaini, which the meaning is?
I don't know, is that like friend or something?
Close friend. Good. Close friend. Muhammad Ali, number 3.
غني ماني غبيميني.
What's the singular word?
Oh, sorry.
Read the singular word.
Sorry, غيمن.
Ghaymun. What's the dual?
غيماني غيميني.
Good. Ghaymani and Ghaymaini. And Ghaymaini repeated. What's the meaning of Ghaymun?
I don't know. I'm not too sure.
What's the meaning? Cloud. Ghaymun becomes Ghaymani and Ghaymaini, which is cloud. Muhammad Fardeen, number 4. Abdurrahman.
كوكب.
Go ahead.
كوكب كوكبان كوكبين كوكبان.
What?
No, أكواب. كوكب كوكبان كوكبين.
Yeah. كوكب becomes كوكباني in the مرفوع, and in the نصب and jarun becomes كوكبين, and then again كوكبين. And كوكب means star or planet. Abdurrahman, 5. Read this. سقيماني سقيمين. And سقيم means sick or uneasy. Sa'ad, 6. Sorry. 6, Sa'ad. Nasihatun becomes nasihatani, nasihataini, nasihataini. And nasihatun means sincere advice. DJ, 7. Yeah, haqqun becomes haqqani and haqqaini and haqqaini again. And DJ, haqqun means truth, right, or privilege. Truth, right, privilege. Insha, nafsun becomes nafsani, nafsaini, nafsaini. And nafsun means soul, self, person. Number 9, Salma. Hayatun becomes hayatani and hayataini, and then again hayataini. And hayatun means life. Nur, 10. Good. Adabun becomes adabani and adabaini and adabaini. And nur, adabun means punishment or torment, and we will end the punishment and the torment here. Guys, you should really know how to do dual at this point, right? If anyone doesn't know how to do dual at this point, Amira, what do we say?
Rahimahumullah.
Rahimahumullah. Huh? For quiz, La ilaha illallah. For you. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Guys, there is no quiz tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.
Sheikh, I had a quick question.
Go ahead.
It's about an ayah that I saw, if you have time.
Can you WhatsApp it to me? Or send me a voice
inshallah.
note. We'll start you back.
Okay, inshallah.
Okay.
Jazaak khair.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. You want to